If you see my earlier video about improving AI responses, you already know something important. AI gets better when it understands more context, but context alone doesn't solve the real problem. Today is not about better answers, it's about better decisions. Because even when AI sounds right, it can still miss the environment where real decisions actually happen. I'm Anaya Steele, and this is episode 2 of Prompted, Strategic AI Frameworks for Business. So let's talk about where this breaks down. Most people use AI like a search engine. They ask a question, they get an answer. They adjust the wording, they try again. And when the response still feels slightly disconnected from reality, they assume AI just isn't ready for serious use. But the issue usually isn't intelligence, it's environment. AI defaults to generalized best practices, answers designed for an average situation. Professional environments are never average. There are stakeholders, constraints, history, risk tolerance, unwritten expectations. Without that information, AI produces answers that sound reasonable but don't survive contact with the real world. Think about two advisors. One just met you today. The advice is logical, professional, technically correct. The other has worked beside you for years. They know what leadership will support. They know what failed before. They understand the pressure points you never needed to explain. Same intelligence, completely different usefulness. AI works the same way. The tool doesn't change. What changes is the environment it's allowed to understand. This is where many people stop. They improve the answer. Professionals go one step further. They shape the decision environment first, because AI cannot infer the realities surrounding a decision unless those realities are made visible. And once that environment is clear, the quality of reasoning changes dramatically. Once you understand this, you'll never evaluate AI answers the same way again. There are 4 parts to building that environment. First, role and constraints. Not just your title, your actual authority. What decisions you control, what requires approval, what limits your options. Specific constraints turn generic advice into usable guidance. That's the foundation. Now layer in who's involved. Second, stakeholders and priorities. Work doesn't happen in isolation. Who must agree? Who resists change? Who defines success? When AI understands relationships, recommendations become practical instead of theoretical. Now, the piece most people never think to include. Third, the decision environment itself. Industry expectations, organizational culture, risk tolerance. A recommendation that works perfectly in one environment can fail immediately in another. AI cannot reliably guess this. It has to be shown. And finally, what success actually looks like. Fourth, success criteria. What does success actually mean here? Speed, accuracy, stability, innovation, compliance. When AI understands how outcomes are measured, its reasoning begins to align with reality. Here's what this looks like in practice. Without environment, the question sounds simple. How should I handle an underperforming employee? AI gives textbook advice. Set expectations, document performance, create improvement plans. Technically correct, but disconnected. Now add environment. The organization is restructuring. Hiring replacements takes months. Retention metrics are under scrutiny. Team morale is fragile. The same question produces a different answer. One that weighs trade-offs. One that reflects risk. One that fits the real situation. For senior individual contributors, the same method applies, but what counts as environment shifts. Instead of team dynamics, the relevant context becomes specialized expertise, the depth of knowledge built over years, and whether an AI recommendation preserves that depth or reduces it to something interchangeable. Same method, different context. Better answers either way. The tool didn't become smarter. The decision environment became visible. So how do you actually use this? It depends on your tool. If you use ChatGPT, Claude, or Copilot, all three let you save professional context. ChatGPT and Claude call it custom instructions. Copilot uses Notebook. Most people use these for basic preferences, tone, style, response format. But this is exactly where your professional environment belongs. Save your decision context there. Role and constraints, stakeholders and priorities, your decision environment, success criteria. Once it's saved, every new conversation starts with that foundation. You don't repeat yourself every time. If you already have preferences saved, keep them. Add your professional environment alongside. Now, if you use Gemini or another tool without this feature, save your context as a reusable template. Paste it at the start of important conversations. The structure is straightforward. Use the same four components we just covered: your role and constraints, your stakeholders and what matters to them, your decision environment, your success criteria. Then ask your real question. Most people train AI on preferences. You're training it on professional reality. That's the difference between better answers and better decisions. Most AI training focuses on writing better prompts. Better prompts help, but they treat the symptom. Environment solves the cause. When AI understands the world surrounding a decision, every conversation starts closer to reality. Less friction, fewer revisions, better outcomes. In the next episode, we go one level deeper. How do you stress test a decision before committing time, resources, or reputation? 3 questions that expose blind spots even experienced professionals can miss. It's called the decision stress test. Your experience is an asset. Stay strategic. Stay decisive. Prompt with purpose. I'm Anaya Steele, and you've been prompted.